Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So this is a review of the Samsung Galaxy Watch. I have the Classic on my right wrist and also the Standard, the non-Classic on the left. Now the Classic is the more premium flagship product. This is the one that Samsung loaned me to review because Samsung wanted to highlight this one. But then I actually checked out this one at a store and I liked the non-Classic so much that I purchased the non-Classic instead for me to use long term. I'll explain a little bit later why I prefer the non-Classic over the Classic. Let's just begin the review. Now for the most part, everything I say in this review will apply to both watches because they are very similar. The only difference is really is the Classic has a rotatable bezel and stainless steel body. Otherwise they have the same chip, same screen, everything. So let's begin the review. If you follow the wearable industry at all, you will probably know that right now there are a lot of really good fitness bands, fitness trackers from companies like Fitbit, Huawei, Xiaomi, and several others. These bands are relatively inexpensive, particularly the Xiaomi or Honor ones. You can probably find them for under 60, 70 US dollars, and they do a really good job of keeping track of all your health data, like your sleep, steps, exercises, heart rate, like everything that you would need. So that puts smartwatches in a tough spot because smartwatches are usually quite a bit more expensive and they're a little bit bulky. So that means, in my opinion, a smartwatch is only worth it if they can do a lot more than a typical like $40 fitness band. And on top of that, I would prefer a smartwatch to do so much that they make me check my phone less. Unfortunately, up until recently, the only smartwatch that can really do all of that for me is the Apple Watch. Like when I'm wearing Apple Watch, I can respond to notifications on my wrist. Like if I get a WhatsApp message asking me, hey, do you want to have dinner? I can just be like, yeah, okay, I want to do dinner. What time? Speak it, the Apple Watch will pick up all my words. Likewise, if I get an email, I can read an entire email on the Apple Watch. I can also activate Siri on an Apple Watch anytime and ask for directions. You know, navigate me to the closest coffee shop, or like, what's the time in Tokyo right now? You may be thinking, these sound like very basic functionality. Surely smartwatches for Android do the same thing, right? Actually, most of them do not. For example, Huawei makes some really beautiful smartwatches, but they don't allow me to respond to notifications. So if I'm wearing a Huawei watch and I get a WhatsApp message, I can read it, but if I want to respond to it, I have to take out my phone and type. And that defeats the purpose of wearing a watch, in my opinion. Even Fitbit, which is a pretty big company that's owned by Google, does not allow you to respond to notifications easily. I believe you can only pick from a selection of like preset responses, you know, like yes, no, I'll call you back, like one of those. Now we're talking about like Wear OS devices or previous Samsung Galaxy Watch. They actually do allow you to respond to notifications, but those watches tend to run on like an outdated processor and the software was just a little bit laggy that it was very hard to use. For example, the Galaxy Watch 3 that came out last year, voice dictation on that was so bad that it would lag behind what I say by so much and make so many mistakes that I just didn't use it. It was unusable. So that's been pretty frustrating for me because I'm someone who carries an Android phone most of the year. And I hate that I don't have anything in Android as good as an Apple Watch until now. That's because the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 finally lives up to what I expect out of a smartwatch. So my biggest requirement, allowing me to respond to notifications by just speaking, actually work well on the Galaxy Watch 4 because they run on a brand new 5nm chip, the Exynos 920. Now, when I get a WhatsApp message or a Slack message, I can just speak what I want to say and it'll actually pick up everything I say in real time, not make many mistakes, and send the message for me. Hey man, can you hear me? And by now you've probably heard that the Galaxy Watch 4 are the first Samsung wearables to run on Google's Wear OS in many years. So that means these Galaxy Watch actually have access to Google apps this year, like Google Maps. So this is huge again because I like to navigate a lot with my watch and now I can do that with Google Maps. On a previous Galaxy Watch, you didn't really have a good map solution because it did not run on Google's Wear OS. And because the screens of these watches are relatively large at 1.4 inches, that means if I get an email, I can actually read an entire email on the watch. I don't have to take out my phone every single time. I've been wearing the Galaxy Watch 4, either this one or this one, for the past week, And I'm estimating it probably saved me from needing to pull out my phone like 100 times. Now the reason I prefer the standard over the classic is because of the lack of the bezel. On the classic, this bezel elevates over the watch. It's actually pretty cool because you can navigate through the UI by rotating on it. But at the same time, I think the screen on the standard just look cleaner and more immersive without that bezel in the way. On top of that, the standard is thinner than the classic because it doesn't have that bezel. So new to the Galaxy Watch series this year is this sensor, which Samsung calls Bioactive Sensor. It is an all-in-one sensor that tracks 3 metrics: optical heart rate, electrical heart rate, and bioelectrical impedance analysis. So these 3 sensors basically team up to monitor your blood pressure, detect irregular heartbeat, blood oxygen levels, and all the other stuff that are important to your health. And also one more new thing this year is you can check your body composition, which is how much of your body is fat and muscle. And to do so, you just have to tap on the stop measure, enter your stats, and then you have to be wearing the watch and put 2 fingers right here. And then what the watch will do is it will send electrical pulses through your finger. And then these pulses will go through your body, and you know, when it bumps into fat, it will know that's fat, that's not muscle, and then send the data back to the watch. And then after that, it will tell you how much of your body percentage is fat. As someone who used to take weightlifting pretty seriously, I am happy to see this here because body fat percentage is actually the most accurate or important metric to determine if you are in shape or not. A lot of people focus on the numbers on a scale, like, oh no, I gained 5 pounds, or BMI. Both of those don't really matter. Like, the numbers on the scale don't matter. What matters is how high is your body fat percentage. And I'm happy to report that the body fat percentage numbers that the watch reports seems to be pretty accurate, because from my testing, it says I have about a 24% body fat percentage right now. And I can tell that's about accurate because I used to take weightlifting seriously, so I can tell these things. I can also say that the Galaxy Watch 4 does a good job of keeping track of your heart rate and your step count. I wore this along with the Apple Watch Series 6 and the numbers are very similar. The watch can also automatically detect your workout. So the other day I went for a bike ride and it actually could tell I was going for a bike ride. And whenever I walk around Hong Kong at a faster pace than usual, it will begin tracking that workout too, because it thinks I'm going on like a power walk when I'm just rushing around the city. Now, like I said, because this watch runs on Wear OS now, it has access to Google Apps. So you actually have the Google Play Store here, and you can jump into it and download apps directly from the watch. Likewise, any app that you download on your phone will show up here if there's like a watch equivalent of that app. So this Galaxy Watch having a closer tie to Google, it's good for Android phone owners. Now, unfortunately, the Galaxy Watch 4 right now does not support Google Assistant. So if you long press on the button to trigger voice assistant, it's Bixby that shows up. Now, to be honest, Bixby is not that bad. It can do basic stuff like, hey, set a timer for 10 minutes, but it's still not as good as Google Assistant. Now, the good news is Samsung says it will bring Google Assistant over to the Galaxy Watch eventually. I don't know how long, but if Samsung does it within the next 2 months, then that's acceptable. If it takes longer than 2 months, then no, that's a pretty major flaw in this watch, because Google Assistant is much better than Bixby. So other than the lack of a useful voice assistant right now, I have no real complaints with the Galaxy Watch 4. I'm really loving the performance. This new 5nm chip is so much snappier than last year. Like, apps actually launch immediately now. It doesn't take like a 1 second wait. When I do voice dictation, it picks up my voice in real time. And when I scribble text, it picks it up very fast too. And I think for $250 US, this is a good option. This is a really good companion for you if you're using an Android phone, particularly a Samsung phone. If you do want to use this with other Android phones like a Xiaomi, you will have to download Samsung's Galaxy Wear app and also install a bunch of plugins. It will take like 10-15 minutes, so it's a little bit annoying, but once you set all that up, it will work with your other Android phones without issues. Now, ultimately, comparing the Galaxy Watch 4 against the Apple Watch is a lost cause, because both watches are kind of separated by a wall. If you're using an iPhone, you're gonna use an Apple Watch. This watch will not play well with your iPhone. Likewise, if you're using an Android phone, then you can't even consider an Apple Watch anyway. So ultimately, the Galaxy Watch 4 is going up against not the Apple Watch, but against the likes of Fitbit, the Huawei watch, Xiaomi smartwatches and other watches from like Motorola and Mobvoi. And I can say that right now the Galaxy Watch beats all those watches by far. It is the only watch that can let me respond to notifications very easily. I mean, that's all I'm asking for, really. So anyway, that's about it for this review of the Galaxy Watch 4 and the Classic. The Galaxy Watch Classic sells for $350 US, whereas the Galaxy Watch 4 starts at $250. So I personally would recommend the Standard over the Classic, but if you do like that bezel and you want a stainless steel body that's a little bit more premium, then the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic may be worth considering. I would suggest going to a store that sells Samsung products and just have a look for yourself, see which one you like. So anyway, that's about it for this review. It's gonna be a very busy September, man. I have a lot of stuff coming, so stay tuned to this channel. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.